from yesterday and today. So today I am going to talk about something which is very much special and very much informative for me as well. When I started these things, I started it back 1 year ago, and that is flood and other disaster prediction using predictive modeling and AI. And before I begin, I would like to thank a few of my team members from Google Analytics team, as well as the IBM Call for Code team Hotbot, and also the government of Bihar, as well as the Kerala and Odisha for providing the datasets for our use case. So when we tell something like that, we are predicting disaster or something. At the first attempt, everyone thinks that it can't be possible or something. But there are lots of scenarios in India as well, which has set an example in this field and has a huge impact on all over the world in predicting this kind of things. So the problem is that we can't prevent any kind of disaster. That is the fact that no disaster can be prevented. But there is also a major fact that the loss can be minimized. So before we begin, so let's take one example, and that is none other than of Odisha. So it's about, it's a story around 20 years back when a severe super cyclone hit the coastal plains of Odisha, and it resulted that time in 10,000 casualties and over 3.5 millions of houses been completely washed away. Many villages also gone. Lots of people and 25 lakhs people were stuck into the situation due to the waterlogging. So there was a lots of problem and trouble that time. So cutting back to the last 2 years, when cyclone of same intensity came in Odisha, the state grabbed to manage the loss and reduce the casualties to 64. So how this it happened? So 10,000 casualties last 20 years and 64 casualties. 64 is also a devastating figure because the most important thing on this world is life. So 64 casualties is also a very much devastating figure, but the thing is that we need to understand that this is a kind of achievement also. From 10,000 casualties to 64 casualties, it's kind of achievement for a state which is prone to the natural disaster like cyclones, tsunamis, floods. This happens regularly in Odisha. What Odisha did? Odisha did the real life use of image recognition as well as the long short-term memory approach using deep learning. This kind of things were done. So we will discuss a few of them, and then we will see the coding part as well, and we will see the real challenges that what we are facing currently and how to recover and what should be the response and where we are lagging. So these are the few stuff that we will see. So the organization, and everywhere I found that there is something people always tell that data is new gold or make this kind of hype something. Machine learning is the new thing that you should be able to do. It is the future. They are not wrong, but the thing is that it is a very much old concept, we can say that. It started in 1950 when IBM published a paper on machine learning first time. So it is from that time only, but when the Python and R libraries introduced, people started, and it made machine learning so easy so that even a school-going kid can understand. They can also make a system and they can also train their model. There are few parts people will say that exploratory data analysis take a 70% of the time in modeling anything. But the thing is that these are one part. The major risk and most important part that the challenge everywhere the people are facing is to get the proper data. We are not getting data itself. So how to do the exploratory data analysis? There are lots of parts, then univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, outlier treatment, feature creation, variable creation. There are lots of things, lots of stuff. It will definitely take lots of time. But the thing is that we should get data at least so that we will able to do something. So for that I would like to thank different government that have provided lots of data and insights so that we are able to use them in our cases. And another example is of Kerala. I will say in August 2018, Kerala also faced one of the floods that was one of a kind, and it affected around 1.3 million of the population that time. So what did then Kerala did? Kerala did some hackathon kind of stuff, and we also participated in that. Many teams from different organizations participated, and they told us to build a something that should be beneficial at that time. So thanks to AI and DevOps that time, on the first day of the flood, we started working, and within 24 hours, the model was live, so that it was basically for the connectivity of the people which are in the low-lying areas in Kerala or different parts. Let's begin. So as we know that every year disaster kills around 90,000 of the people and affect around 160 million people worldwide. This is the figure which we got from Wikipedia, and this is the actual figure. Actual figure is even more than that. It was last year we have taken this data, but it is data, it is a horrible figure. So according to what, and China is at the number 1, and United States, Philippines, Indonesia, and India is at number 5. But we are ahead, we are doing something that is relevant to us, relevant for the data scientists, relevant for the researchers, and they are doing something that is in favor of mankind. So they are something that can be inspirational for us, so that how to do something, how to judge any kind of disaster, whether it should be predicted or the loss, how the loss can be minimized, thanks to all Longsolver 2.0 alpha version with tightly coupled with Keras. How many of you have deployed the model using TensorFlow 2.0 and Keras? It should be, it can be immunist data set also. So you can raise the hands. Those who have, okay. Nice. So we have used here TensorFlow and Keras, and we will see that what we have did, and then we will analyze that what needs to be done and how it can be improved further. So as you can see that there are lots of disasters. Actually, there are 64 disasters. 1947 to till now, there has been a 664 such events, and causing deaths of total more than 17 lakhs people. It is a devastating figure and horrible figure also, but it's a data, we need to accept it. And the loss of, and the total damage in million USD is like 91,086. I don't know whether it will fit in the calculator or not. I don't think so. So these are the kind of losses that India, that this kind of things impact not only the economy but also the sentiments of the people. So what needs to be done? Actually, we have learned from the community, and it's time to repay them back. How to repay them back? We need to do something in this field so that we can come together, we can do something so that it should be in the favor of mankind. So we need to see things with a different angle. We simply can't tell, no, it can't be possible, we can't do anything. This occurs only in theoretical part also. So we will not able to achieve this, so it is a waste of time. If we'll think like that, then it will be impossible, because recently we have heard about the coronavirus. So do you know how the first case was identified of coronavirus? Anyone? It was identified using AI in Canada. .x is a platform which identified it back in December for all its customers. It seems to be impossible to be predicted, but there are cases that where this has been predicted and over accuracy of 70%. So as we know that, so these cases are actually totally different. So when we talk about these cases, people think of stock market data. So it can't be done, or it can't be predicted what will be the next thing. So there are lots of questions around that. But actually, we are thankful to our nature that the climate has a natural pattern, because winter will come in winter. Either we are in south, then it will come later. If we are in north, it will come early. So it is a pattern that, and what we are doing that, we are just identifying the anomalies in the data. So identifying the pattern in a data is a very much tough task. So we are using LSTM and other approaches or other neural feed-forward neural network derivative we will take. So we will got to know different things. So let's start. So the major thing is that we need to identify the feature, which are the feature which can be more correlated, because while sitting in an AC room, we can't predict that whether it is going to be a flood in some area or not. So we need to understand that what are the actual feature we need to consider, because there are, if we consider, let's suppose Kerala, it is at a high-lying area with respect to ocean, but when we consider Bihar, it is at low-lying area. so the feature will be totally different. So we need to understand that which kind of feature we need to choose, and we should fragment our model. So everything can't be generalized. So we need to fragment our model into different angle, and we need to see it with different perspectives. So I will take just one example also. Over 2.3 billion of people are affected due to floods in last 20 years and causing countless deaths. More than 92 billions of cattle are lost every year. And 7 million hectares of land is also affected, and the damage is over $5 trillion when taken count globally in the last 5 years. This data is of only 5 years. So we need to understand that these are the major threats. Even we are able to save even a single life also, then it will be the achievement of not ourselves. It will be the achievement in the field of mankind. It will be the achievement for the AI. So we need to understand that what we can do for this kind of thing, this kind of situation which are being taken seriously. And this is a severe problem, so we need to look at that. So we have tried to do something, but I don't know that because we were able to predict low-lying areas flood with the accuracy of 64%. So that is not a good accuracy, but it's better than a toss. I have also contacted to the several research person. I will show the direct language so that we will able to understand that what is the current situation over here. Then we will come back. So this is the reply by Joint Director of FMIS, WRD, Government of Bihar. It is a independent body. So I just asked 3 simple questions, and their response was also there. Though the first question is that in Bihar, what techniques are being used for flood prediction? The simple question I asked, like a common person. So the answer is that Bihar has a history of facing frequent floods, inundating sometimes more than 50% of the Bihar's geographical area. So Bihar is engaged in flood prediction using some of the latest flood modeling tools like HEC-RAS, HEC-HMS, MIC, IDs, and hydrodynamics, as well as the NAM model for issuing a flood forecasting with a lead of 72 hours. So before building anything, we need to understand that what has been actually built and what is being currently used. If we will not know those things, then we will build simply, and that is we after at the end we will got to know that there are more accurate models that are existing. So the time will be complete. It will call that complete wastage of time. So in order to understand, we need to solve problems. So we need to understand that what is the current situation on the ground level. So when we will understand the current situation on the ground level, then we will order to model something, or we need to judge something. So we need to understand that what is the current situation. And second question I asked, that was also a simple question. Do we use data science for flood prediction? The answer was that we are using available historical data related to rainfalls, water levels of various rivers for calibrating and testing our flood forecasting model. So answer was not clear. So I got that what is so far. So what we used here, technology suggestion. We will start the technology suggestion. So first one, what we can use any platform. We have used Watson Studio. We can use Azure. We can use AWS, or we can use our own independent services so that we can use. But I used that time Watson Studio. And second thing, what I used that hydroinformatics integration platform. So actually it depends upon several factors how to create a hydro informatics integration platform. Because to build something, we need to minimize the complexity of a model. To minimize the complexity of a model, what we can do, we can just differentiate our models into different layers, such as data acquisition layer, then their data will be stored, data integration layer, different layer, and the end user layer. It can be anything, like we can build an application or something. We can use social media for general awareness of the people that we should not go to the flood while this time frame. So we need to understand that how to build different layers so that it will be less complex for anyone to understand the model and to improve that model. I am telling that this model is not that much accurate, but it's somewhat accurate that it can be done, something can be done with this model. So it needs to be improved further. So everything is for the community, so we should come together, we should do coding, because everything is free if you will think in different way. So it just required our time and little bit of our thought. So we need to understand something that we can do something with the data available, because there are lots of platforms, data.gov.in, Google recently launched 1.5 million data sets. So we can utilize that, we can practice that, or even we want to practice something, we can use the Kaggle data sets also. But the real-time problem is very much different, because actually only 30% of the data in the world are in the structured format, and rest 70% of the data is in unstructured format. What does it mean? It means that it is a headache. So how to make what is the job of a data analyst? They make unstructured data into structured data, that's all. So, but we will require lots, because there can be lot of feature that will be, that can be causing flood. So we need to understand that feature, and we need to take each and every data. So we try to take data as old as possible. We have taken data from 1901 to 2017. So that time. And other thing is that two algorithms that mostly we used was 3-parameter Muskingum model coupled with BAT algorithm. So actually 3 parameters Muskingum model is something that is that is a old concept. It was given by McCarthy in 1936 that time. So we have studied that what is been currently done with this model. This is actually a river routing problem. So in this kind of scenario, 3-parameter Muskingum model is used because it depends upon 2 factors. One is the continuity equation, and that is directly proportional to the law of conservation of mass. And second is that how the inflow and outflow of the river discharge depends upon the catchment of the river. So this thing we need to consider what we can done. So we have just we can say that we have improved something characteristics of the Muskingum model. So we are using that same old concept everywhere. When we see that there is something which is predicting the future or something, so they will use McCarthy's model or something like that. And second one is the deep learning short-term memory approach, and LSTM that is. So it is better to use LSTMs over that, because we can say that in a normal traditional neural networks, the problem is that the specificity and sensitivity decays exponentially with time. So we need to understand this fact, and so we will discuss further that. And another one I mentioned is the BAT algorithm. It is nothing, it is inspired by bats only, and it's like it's echolocation of bats and loudness and pulse it measures, and then it will just give one output, either 0 or 1, high intensity or low intensity, just all. So, and also we have studied different statistical method that been currently used in different parts of the world, such as different parts of the world. We have studied few models actually. We will not go in that much detail about that models. Actually, they are the region where US, Japan, UK, Greece, and India. India is using heavily AI these days. And all the things which were the models which were predicting were hourly data. So let's proceed further. And all were the historical data that been currently used, and we can understand these things concept because each concept is a very much we need to understand in it very much depth, because speaking something in the air will not do that task. So we need to understand, we need to invest our time. So let's proceed further. So what data set we have used there? First thing was the district-wise rainfall month data from 1901 to 2019. And second one was hydrometer reading, and third one was river basin discharge, and fourth one was actually I forgot to tell, all the things we are predicting here is for Bihar, because we have actual data set for different parts of the low-lying areas of Bihar as well. So we need to understand, we know actually what is at the ground level, what is the sorrow of people. So we have used different kind of data set, like we have considered death records of animals, death records of the human, because which intensity of flood will result into how many deaths. So it can't be model, it is, but it is uncertain. So, but we have considered, because adding a feature, so we have just added it as a feature. So we will discuss further, then we will see the coding part as well. Actually, the flood are the complicated natural events. It definitely depends upon the several parameters. So it is very much difficult to model them analytically. So some of the parameters which we have considered are like characteristics of the catchment, river drainage, and opening of the barrage, antecedent conditions. Because we need to understand that particular fragment. We have fragmented the model so that it can't be used anywhere. It's just specific to one area. Because why we have considered low-lying areas, because if the rainfall is high in Nepal, so all the water from Nepal, because it's a slope, so we need to understand that if there is a high rain in Nepal, then all water will come to Bihar, because Nepal is just at the higher level and Bihar is just below that. So if there is higher rainfall in Nepal also, then it will turn into flood in Bihar. So why Nepal government is not doing anything? We will have a question that we can build a dam over there in Nepal, but dam has a limit. If they will not open the barrage of the dam, then what will happen? That Nepal will get flooded. So they need to save themselves. So they have to open the dam built on the Kosi river. And if they will open the dam, definitely the flood will come in Bihar. But we need to understand that what is the intensity of the Bihar, how much area or how much square kilometers should be vacated. Either it's orange signal or it's red signal or it is in green zone. So we need to understand these kind of things. And another example I would like to add here. It also happened way back. This story is about from 1936. It was the year of presidential election in US, and that time Republican London challenged that time incumbent President Mr. Roosevelt. And what happened that time? Actually, there was one magazine that time called Literary Digest, and that magazine predicted. And that magazine asked its reader, it's a very much famous example, asked its reader, 10 million readers actually, that whom they would vote for, either Roosevelt or Republican London. So out of 10 million, 2.4 million people have responded so far. And after the prediction, they told that, the magazine told that, the Republican London will win 57% of the vote, while Roosevelt will win around 31% of the vote. But on the day of the result, it was completely opposite. Actually, 62% of the votes was won by Roosevelt, and only 38% of the vote was won by Republican London. So what happened? What happened wrong? So can anyone answer there? You can just raise your hand. Yes. Yeah, definitely, yes. Strata sampling, right? Any more answers? So actually both of you are right, but the thing is that here the problem was that, the first problem was that we can say that the responded people were only 2.4 millions, and all they were the readers of the magazine. So what we can take as an inference that they belongs to upper class or the middle class of the society. So the problem was that that magazine does not reach towards the lower backgrounds of the people. So they went to their readers only, and it is not also a fact that their readers are voters. So, or this can be also possible that the readers who have responded are biased towards the Republican London. So there can be many possibilities. So, but as of now, we can take two more, and we have proceeded further. One was that we need always to consider selection bias, as well as we can say that non-response bias, because only 1/4 of the population responded that time. So this is the important thing we need to consider while modeling anything. And also a important fact was that if we consider a badly considered model with a huge sample is worse than wisely considered a small sample. So we need to understand these things, that how to sample our data set. So the problem is that we can't make anything generalized. So we need to understand that sampling bias and non-response bias, Because if we don't understand these things, it's better to do a toss. It will save a time and everything will be saved because tossing does not require, just a coin is required. So in order to achieve something, we need to understand that bias also an important factor while modeling anything. So let's start. And why we have considered Bihar that time while modeling? Because it is one of the most flooded state of the country. Around 78% of the land in Bihar is directly or indirectly affected by flood. So this is the thing why we have considered. If we can consider or we can come up with a solution for a worst situation, then definitely we can come solution for a different scenarios lives in Bihar. Thanks for the Google Analytics team. They also went Patna with us, and IBM Call for Code, Team Hardware, they also went with us to understand what is the scenario, what the problem is currently being faced by different peoples, what is the actual scenario, what we can do. So we have discussed about the complexity and what we have discussed about what is at the ground level. Thank you for the government because they have shared the accurate things. They have also shared the accurate data that help us a lot to model something. So actually we should save our time. At least we can give a 30 minutes or 1 hour daily so that we can do something for the community. If we will able to do something for the community, just a little time is required and it will make a huge impact. So definitely I have used here the TensorFlow as well as the Keras for modeling our deep learning model. You can find all the codes and dataset as well in my GitHub repository. I have mentioned everything there and I have uploaded the dataset as well. That what we have used and what we can where we can improve also. This also we need to consider in our mind. These are the coding part as well. We have also we have seen yesterday also that there was one session about predicting that whether a person is a horse or whether something is a horse or animal, a horse or man. So this kind of thing you can relate to, but little complex things will come while modeling some of the LSTM's memory. When we will discuss about these things, it will be little complex, but we can understand what is happening in the background. So the most important thing which I feel is the acquisition of the data, because data is not available. People will always say that data is the new gold, but whether you will find that new gold, because it is in unstructured format. Every tweet, every like, everything has a meaning. So we need to understand that we don't have that much resource or that much manpower that can extract, because we can't hire lots of data analysts to do something. So everything should be automated to some extent, but it can't be done because still only 30% of the data is in structured format. So just I will show these are the references. I will show some of the result what we have got. This one was the upper part is the predicted result and the below part is the ground truth. So what we can see that as we will come to the 20,000 data set, 15,000 to 20,000 data set, we can find that when there is a high flood, then our model is not behaving good. So our model is good for having a low lying and low flood. So we need to give more features. So in order to make our data set, our model more accurate, so we need to understand few things. And what we have references we have taken is from Daily Flood Bulletin, Kosi Flood Bulletin. These are all the weekly and daily magazines and reports that have been published during the flood as per the regulation by the central government. So daily flood maps, Google APIs, lots of things we used. And here is my link for my GitHub repository where we can find the code as well as the dataset. So you can ask questions. I will try to answer. Contact me a letter. Just you need to just search Akshit Priyas on Google and you can find me on any platform. Just message me. I will be there and I will be working with you. I will be definitely love to do something in this field. So thank you. Thanks all.